The mankind believed that they've won the battle with the virus after the pandemic. But after a short while, a new kind of virus that no one has ever encountered took over humanity. The infected organisms soon die, and their bodies transform into horrifying creatures. By communicating through ultrasonic waves, group themselves into a new species. Most of humanity was wiped out.
After was a very interesting film to watch while we're going through a pandemic and kind of questioning where the sci-fi genre could go, because we've almost been living in a sci-fi world in the past few years, and the voiceover and the context that the story began and reminded me of that. Um, and it showed this efficient, confident world where we use military equipment and that we should feel safe in if everything's under control, but looking at that type of equipment that reminds us of war, and the music makes us feel the opposite. It doesn't make us feel safe at all. And so after being on the defensive for so long, we've been trying to fight off a virus. This showed a world in where we're in the offensive and we're trying to attack other things. And the fact that that film could make me have so many questions and insight into where we're living now, I think it was very profound and connected our current dystopia with the future.
Following a pandemic, or what we think is a finished pandemic, is really intriguing of a place to start because it automatically hooks your viewer in and saying, I know what that's like, and then we're going to raise the stakes on that. Can you believe and buy in a little bit more to this? And I did. It was huge in its proportions, but it being so close to our timeline, building that backstory, easing us into it, was amazing as a ride because it pumped up to full throttle when we got fully into it. And I thought brilliant CGI and graphics that really sold the world building. And it was so easy to fully indulge in, especially squid creatures falling from the sky. I was like, yep, I'm here for it. You brought me here. And yeah, really, really well executed.
I thought this was really intriguing. It felt very much like it had the potential of being like a post-apocalyptic zombie-esque movie. But I liked that it didn't straight up go for that. It, had a couple other layers added into it. It wasn't just zombies. Where they actually like turned into these different other creatures and, had their kind of DNA rewritten. And I thought the animation was really well done and really interesting. I liked that they kind of explained like not only did like some people survive, but also they built robots and then tried to figure out a way to fight this and like are commencing with this giant battle and things like that, because I think that that is very much human nature and that's very much the kind of human spirit. And so I liked that they also had an explanation of like, it wasn't just that this thing happened, it wasn't just that this pandemic and these monsters and these, everything that, happened in that sense, but it was like, what's next, what's after, and I liked that they kind of addressed that.
After was an interesting display of visual effects, and it was very interesting to see like what the team came up with and that, and it's fairly interesting. Interesting battle. Yeah, just nice visual effects display. You could tell they put a lot of effort into it.
This one, coming off of the more contemplative films, was just 5 minutes of action, so it was a fun change-up, and I think that the action here was pretty well done and pretty entertaining. The use of animation was pretty solid. Good choice to portray such a large conflict. I thought it was really interesting, the choice that the filmmakers made with how they presented the human and alien armies. You have not only these two conflicting forces established through the opening scene, but throughout you can very clearly tell who's who, with one side being alien but completely organic in appearance, and then the humans fighting with a lot of synthetic things, weapons and mech suits and things like that. I thought it was an interesting choice that seemed to have some sort of thematic significance But regardless of whether or not that was intentional by the filmmaker or they just thought it looked cool, I thought either way it works. It's an interesting way of presenting the conflict, and I enjoyed it.
I thought that After was a pretty good showcase of the imagination of how dangerous and a potential alien invasion could be. This film says it's a virus. It could be an alien virus or from the outer space. They don't know. And I think it's the fear of the unknown that really drives this plot forward. There are so many soldiers and people in helicopters with gear and weaponry that go up against these guys, but there is nothing that they can do that can stop them because there are just so many different creatures and they end up being taken down. I thought that the sort of images at the beginning of all of the barren towns, the one with the highway with just all of those cars just abandoned and wrecked was really, really just sort of draws you in the beginning. It's kind of really hard to not get hooked after that. I thought that the action sequences were very well done, kind of showed how hopeless this fight is. So yeah, I thought it was very well constructed overall.
All right, so I just finished watching After, which is about a post-pandemic world in which it went much worse than it's gone for us here, in which the virus that seems to have come from outer space has wiped out most of humanity and created a situation in which those that are left over infected have become sort of alien species. The humans that are left over have created an AI and mechanical army that's designed to fight back against them. While this is a sort of interesting philosophical theme, the animation, the construction of this film is really crazy. It's super well done. The military sequences are probably the highlight of the entire piece. Just not even the fighting, but necessarily, but what it looks like in the dock and the scale, the number of machines, the efficiency in which it all rolled out. It's really wild, and then it gets to the very good fight scene. It's quite scenic over the water as the fighter jets get into a battle with the alien species. It feels very much like a classic blockbuster sci-fi vehicle, but done at this scale and in this style is quite impressive because it feels a lot bigger than it really is, and it packs in a lot of action in a short amount of time. So in that sense, I did enjoy this piece.